helps students revise what they learned in class. And
No, that's completely wrong. Homework is just stressful.
can I at least finish what I was saying?
But students are already tired after school. You're ignoring that point.
Nima, you keep interrupting her.
Well, your idea still doesn't make sense.
I was trying to explain both sides before you interrupted again.
Do you notice what made this conversation uncomfortable? Interrupting someone rudely can make conversations tense and disrespectful. But sometimes we do need to interrupt or disagree. The question is, how can we do it politely in English? Let's learn together. Welcome to Sepia Language Lab with Teacher Z, where English becomes simple, practical, and fun. Interrupting someone rudely can sound disrespectful, as this first image. Notice the first discussion. Students are interrupting each other, emotions are rising, and nobody is really listening. In the second image, the students are calmer, they wait for each other to speak, and they disagree respectfully. In English communication, the way we interrupt or disagree matters. Polite communication helps conversations remain respectful and productive. Is considered a polite language. That means people usually avoid directly contradicting others. Interrupting someone rudely can sound disrespectful. However, there are times when interruption is necessary. You may interrupt to ask a question, make a correction, offer an opinion, or ask for clarification. Before interrupting, ask yourself, is my interruption necessary? Good communicators interrupt only for important reasons. For example, to ask a question, to correct important information, to add an opinion, or to clarify something they didn't understand. We will now look at steps to interrupt politely. First, signal you want to speak using polite body language. The polite body language includes eye contact, slight hand raise, sitting forward, quiet throat clearing. Next, wait for the speaker to pause. Never interrupt aggressively. Then, use polite interruption phrases such as, "Excuse me, may I add something? I'm sorry to interrupt, but would this be a good time to ask a question? Sorry, I didn't catch that." Kindly note that the examples given are just a few. We have so many others. If you feel angry or annoyed, take a deep breath and speak calmly in a low tone. When conversing with people, we should avoid these bad habits. 1. Unnecessary interruptions. 2. Finishing another person's sentence. 3. Correcting people unnecessarily. And speaking harshly. Disagreeing politely means respecting the person even when you disagree with their idea. Remember, disagree with the idea, not the person.
How do we disagree politely? 1. Listen carefully. 2. Stay calm. 3. Acknowledge their opinion. 4. Use respectful language. 5. Speak softly.
Here are some useful expressions for disagreeing politely.
I agree up to a point, but
I see your point, but
That's partly true, but
not so sure about that.
I'm afraid I have to disagree.
I'm sorry to disagree with you, but
Having learnt these ways of polite disagreement, we will now listen in to another conversation.
I think students should not wear uniforms because uniforms are boring.
Excuse me, may I add something?
Sure.
I see your point, but uniforms help students feel equal.
That's partly true, but students also want freedom of expression.
Excellent. Notice how both students disagreed respectfully. That is how polite communication works. Calm tone, respectful language, and active listening. Now you know how to interrupt and disagree politely in English. Which polite phrase will you use today? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again on Sepia Language Lab with Teacher Z.